The House Republican caucus is desperately at this hour trying to save itself from itself. Speaker Kevin McCarthy is trying to approve must-pass spending bills and avert a government shutdown. So he's working with this strange, disparate group to hash out some compromise that everyone in the caucus can get behind. So far, they have had no luck in that. Here's the thing. McCarthy already struck a deal, right? We shouldn't be doing this. They struck a deal with the White House and the Senate back in the spring. Top line numbers for all these budget bills. The Senate's upholding it. It's passing stuff 91-7. His caucus is not. Congressman Matt Gaetz and his small but high leverage faction are balking, showing that McCarthy has no effective control over his slim majority. Sources tell NBC News that in a caucus meeting, McCarthy dared far-right lawmakers to, quote, file the effing motion to remove him as speaker. We'll see if that happens. One unnamed House Republican told Semaphore they are coming undone, drawing a comparison to what ultimately happened with the so-called 5 families in the Godfather movies. Quote, the whole family kills each other. I think we're close to that right now. We are maybe the Godfather 2 stage. Congresswoman Ilhan Omar is a Democrat of Minnesota. She serves as deputy chair of the House Progressive Caucus. Earlier this year, she was removed from the Foreign Affairs Committee following a vote initiated by Speaker McCarthy, and she joins me now. Congresswoman, it is striking to me that he was able to get the team together to whip the votes on getting you off the Foreign Affairs Committee, but is having a much harder time getting the must-pass spending bills through.
Yeah, he even struggled with that one. And
it's true. You're right. I forgot. That's right. That was that was a lift. Yes.
And even more comically, he struggled to pass legislation to protect gas stoves from liberals, which was more insane than not. And it makes sense because they refer to themselves as the 5 families. Them coming undone and probably killing each other might actually happen before we even get to passing any significant piece of legislation. It is a tragedy that these people can't figure out how to govern. We all know that McCarthy, as Matt Gaetz himself says, really has sold his soul and has made so many deals that he can't keep them straight. No one trusts his word, and he's unable to, make his lies work for him now.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm curious. I don't know how candid you'll be on this, but I'll ask it anyway. Every caucus has internal tensions, internal factions, different priorities. That's true. That's politics, right? It's certainly true in a House. It's certainly true with hundreds of different members from different districts, different ideological dispositions. One thing that I feel like I've heard from people about Speaker Pelosi, and I don't know if this is true of Hakeem Jeffries, although I imagine it is that you didn't feel like you were a bunch of different side deals being made that you didn't know about. Like, you kind of knew where you stood. If she was not happy with where you are, you knew where you stood. If she was trying to get your vote, you knew where you stood. But that gave her the ability to whip votes and keep the caucus together on crucial votes that does seem to be lacking with Kevin McCarthy right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think the difference with Pelosi and probably leader Jeffries is that they weren't running daycare, dealing with children. I mean, we were all there.
You're saying the caucus is different, yeah.
Right. We were all there trying to do our best to govern on behalf of the country. And so we all knew what we were looking for and could negotiate with Speaker Pelosi to try to make an actual deal that everybody could understand where we were coming from and what was the thing that we were trying to get done on behalf of our constituents. These people are not asking for anything on behalf of their constituents. What they're asking for is a protection and a distraction from what is happening to Trump. This is a twice impeached president who has now been indicted 4 times in both federal and state charges. He's got 91 criminal charges. This is what they're looking for. Marjorie Taylor Greene the other day tweeted something to the effect of, we want to have as many headlines as possible so that, we can take the heat away from Trump and Biden's name could be defamed. They know that they are dealing with a candidate that is defamed, that is deranged, that is looking for vengeance, and they're willing to do everything, even if it means having our country's government shut down, impacting the health and the well-being of the constituents that entrusted their vote and their representation onto us.
It's interesting. Ken Buck, who is a House Freedom Caucus member, a member from Colorado, he's been sort of vocally dissenting from a lot of this. He just wrote an op-ed in the Washington Post basically saying this impeachment idea is bogus and we shouldn't do it. And he gave an interview to my colleague Jen Psaki where he sort of described the dynamic inside that caucus. I'm curious to get your thoughts. Take a listen.
I think there's a perfect storm brewing in the House in the near future in September. On the one hand, we've got to pass a continuing resolution. And we also have the impeachment issue. And we also have members of the House, led by my good friend Chip Roy, who are concerned about policy issues. So you take those three things put together, and Kevin McCarthy, the Speaker, has made promises on each of those issues to different groups. And now it is all coming due at the same time.
That seems to be the issue. The promises are mutually exclusive with each other, right? That he's made a bunch of promises, but can't actually keep all of them.
Yeah, I mean, we all learned early that you can't write checks you can't cash. And this is what is happening. And you know, I think Ken is right. Ken was right when they removed me from the Foreign Affairs Committee, that they would regret it. And I think Ken is right in saying that McCarthy is regretting the fact that he's made all of these promises that he can't keep. And we have to remember, it is the American people that are going to suffer. The president and the Senate had already made a deal with McCarthy. We already have there's an agreed upon procedure
yes.
to move these funding bills, as you alluded to earlier in your opening. And the fact that we are here now, you know, within a couple of weeks of a government shutdown and not being able to move anything is a disaster. And every single day we've shown up this week waiting for just the rule to be come to the floor for us to vote on, and they couldn't even swing that. And I wonder what his whip and his majority leader are doing as well. It just looks like all of the people that are in leadership are incapable of leading and creating a process where all of their conference can coalesce in making decisions on behalf of the country.
Yeah, I've covered some dumb shutdowns in my day. This would definitely be the dumbest. This would win for dumbest shutdown were they to actually get to that point. Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, thank you very much.